Good afternoon, parents, guests, and staff. Please stand for the processional of our platform party and graduating students, and remain standing for our land acknowledgement and the national anthem. Please remain standing. We acknowledge we are hosted on the lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat. We also recognize the enduring presence of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Please be seated. Thank you, Ms. Kilbride and the Commencement Wind Ensemble for those wonderful performances. We're so fortunate to have you after the pandemic and all the time away from live music. Graduates, parents, special guests, and staff, welcome to the 43rd Annual Commencement Ceremony. My name is Laura Houghton. I'm one of the vice principals here at Bethune, and today I am your MC. It is a great honor for me to welcome you here, our 2022 families, graduates, and friends to this special occasion. Please allow me to introduce our special guests in the front row from your left to your right. Ms. Jean Yip, our Member of Parliament. Ms. Manna Wong, School Trustee for Ward 20. Mr. Vance Scott, our Principal. And Ms. Christina Wilson, Vice Principal. And in the second row, on your left, Mr. Sam Coe, one of the co-chairs of the Bethune School Council. From our audience, we also extend a special welcome to Mr. Alan Cobb from the Scarborough Agincourt Federal Liberal Association. Many of our staff join our special guests on stage, and other staff are in the audience or they're helping behind the scenes. Would all Bethune staff, past and present, please stand wherever you might be so that our graduates, parents, and guests can acknowledge you and your dedication and hard work this past year. Please stand, staff, all staff. Thank you. We are pleased to have a professional photographer from Edge Imaging here who will take a photo of each graduate as they accept their diploma. These photos are available after the ceremony, and there's a link provided on the first page of the program where you can access those photos. I am now pleased to invite Mr. Vance Scott, our principal, to address our graduating class.
Good afternoon. You know what? There's about 12 seats right here up at the front if folks are having to stand and they're uncomfortable. Right along the front, there's 12 seats. Please just come up and grab them. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our commencement ceremonies for the class of 2022. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the parents and guardians, families and friends of the graduates, our special guests, the teachers and staff of Dr. Norman Bethune, the musical entertainment, and finally, to our graduates. This year, we are also webcasting the ceremony so our extended families can share in this special occasion from the comfort of their homes. Thank you to Mr. Garrett from Vic Park and our Blaze students for the technical expertise. The lovely flowers and refreshments that you'll see after the ceremony are compliments of your school parent council. I would like to thank them for their support and resilience as we have continued to meet throughout the school year. Graduates, I'd like you to take a second and try to remember where you were on March 13th, 2020. It was a Friday. I'll give you a hint. You were just over halfway through your second year of high school. We all know what came next. Mark Twain is often credited with saying you should never let school interfere with your education. That was the day that your school really interfered with your education. The last 2.5 years have been marked by pivoting from one structure to the next as the world attempted to deal with COVID-19. Your strength and resilience have brought you here today. This is a time to be proud. Proud of the marks you worked so hard to earn, proud of the friendships you've cultivated, proud of your many accomplishments. Your high school experience was like none other. One of our vice principals has chosen to graduate alongside you this year. As our students take the next step in their lives, Mrs. Houghton will be embarking on a new adventure of her own. She is retiring from the Toronto District School Board. After 29 years as an educator, I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Houghton for her outstanding career as an administrator, a teacher, and a tireless advocate for the arts. Her many positive contributions to Bethune have had a significant impact on our school and community. And I have a special gift I'd like to present to Mrs. Houghton at this time. During today's ceremonies, you'll hear about students who have earned significant recognition both inside and beyond the walls of our school. Thank you to them for helping make Bethune a great school in our community and beyond. Your success is our success. Along with those receiving public accolades, I'd also like to thank the many fine students who have showed up every day and created the incredible culture that makes Bethune so memorable. Congratulations to all of our graduates and their families. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. At this time, we'd like to invite Trustee Wong to say a few words on behalf of the Toronto District School Board.
Thank you, Mrs. Houghton. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today? It's a good day, isn't it? It's a good day, it's sunny outside, and it's also a very memorable day for not just the graduates, but all of us here in the hall. And as I said, yes, it is sunny outside, but make no mistake, there's nothing we can we can beat the sunshine we see here in our audience, isn't it? So again, my name is Mena Wong, and I have the privilege to be the TTSB trustee for the area. And indeed, it's my privilege to be able to attend the graduation here and celebrate the successful completion of your high school education for the class of 2022 at Dr. Norman Bethune CI. Before I begin, I would like to apologize first. I'd like to apologize that I have to leave early because there is another graduation happening at the exactly same hour. And make no mistake, I'm not going to skip. I'm going to trade for anything else. But instead, I will try my best to attend every single graduation in the area. And this is the 23rd of the year. So again, I'm not complaining, as I really indeed sincerely feel that it's my privilege to be able to do that. Like, honestly, where else and when can we see all these beautiful faces? And they are the sunshine, they are the hope for our future. So without further ado, graduates, I want you to take a moment to reflect on the education you have worked so hard for and the experiences that have made you the students you are today. Whether you are excited to move on or completely terrified of what the future will hold, your graduation is something that you will remember for many, many years to come. It represents your achievements, what you have learned, and how you have changed for the better. Yes, as Mr. Scott said, for the past almost 2.5 years, you have not only achieved success in completing your secondary education, you have also overcome a multitude of challenges that the world has thrown at you, of course, including the global pandemic. The pandemic changed the way we learn, work, and live. Even for us, every one of us, not just us, but everyone in the audience, I would say that at times it felt like that we are searching in the dark. Sometimes we thought that we could have done better or we could have done more, but let me tell you, at the end of the day, I really believe that we are all doing this hand in hand. We're doing this with each other in our hearts, and we will get there. So here at Dr. Norman Bethune, you have built a good foundation by demonstrating that you have acquired the knowledge, the skills, and above all, the character to trust and respect everyone around you. Graduates, you are about to soar to new heights. Whether you have already mapped out a solid plan on what you're going to do, or whether you are still pondering, please follow your heart. Pursue what you enjoy the most is the best way to find out who you are supposed to be and what you want to do with your life. Celebrate every achievement with your family, your friends, and embrace any mistakes you might make. Sometimes the wrong choices take you to the right paths. The key is to trust yourself and push on. So graduates, at this particular moment, I would like you to turn around, turn to your left. Turn to your left. Turn to your left and wave at your family, your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, and your friends. Yes, say thank you. And better yet, blow them kisses. Okay, they deserve every single one of them. Yes, you say, oh, come on, it's in the public. I'm not doing this embarrassing thing. But let me reassure you, it's okay. Yes, please remember to do that. If not, yes, you can go home tonight. Make sure you remember hugs. Hugs go a long way, okay? Please promise to do that. So parents and grandparents and guardians here in the community, yes, please be very, very proud. These beautiful young people will not be here without your support, your nurturing every day of their lives. And thank you for entrusting your son and daughter with our public school system. For now, all we need to know is that the best is yet to come. Isn't it? Yes. Lastly, I'd like to ask for a round of applause for our amazing staff here at Dr. Norman Bethune under the leadership of Principal Scott. A big hand for them, please. To the staff, thank you for engaging and empowering our students so that they've become not mere good students, but also outstanding citizens. Once again, graduates, go be great. Go soar those heights. I sincerely hope that you will be happy with whatever you choose to do and whomever you choose to be. And to everyone here, I wish you a most relaxing, fun, and rewarding summer. Thank you all.
Thank you, Trustee Wong. We are now ready to present the Ontario Secondary School Diplomas and the winners of department awards. At this time, would the front row of graduates with your pink card follow Mr. Ishiguro to the stage steps. The Ontario Secondary School Diploma is awarded to a student who has earned a minimum of 30 credits. This usually takes 4 years. Along with this diploma, some students may also be receiving the Ontario Scholar Certificate, which signifies the student has attained an average of at least 80% in 6 grade 12 subjects. Some students will be receiving a Bethune Scholar Certificate for earning an average of 90% or better in 6 grade 12 courses taken at Bethune this year. I will now call on Ms. Barrett to read the names of the first group of diploma recipients.
Graduates and guests, I am pleased to read the names of the first group of students who are to receive their Ontario Secondary School diplomas. Ms. Wilson, please come forward and present the diplomas to the first group of OSSD recipients. Please hold your applause until the whole group has received their diplomas and awards. Now to our graduates. Rahaf Aldaldo, recipient of OSSD. Rahaf is going to Business Administration Management at Seneca College. She is also the recipient of the grade 12, oops, that's the other one, sorry. He needs that back. No problem. Ruda Al-Hatashi. Ruda is the recipient of OSSD and going to Centennial. Miriam Ali. Miriam is OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar. She's taking computer science at the Toronto Metropolitan University. David Asimota. He is an OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar. He is going to take engineering program at York University. Umna Atik, OSSD recipient and Ontario Scholar. Umna is taking business tech management at Toronto Metropolitan University. Larian Atong, OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar. Larian is going to the Bachelor's of Education at Brock University. Ms. Kilbride, Larian, hang on right there. Ms. Kilbride, would you please come forward and present Larian with the Instrumental Music Award? Thank you, Ms. Kilbride. Please have a seat. Gulpreet Kalken, OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar. Gulpreet is going to Biological Science at University of Guelph. Ms. Kilbride, please come forward again and present Gulpreet with the Grade 12 Drama Award. Alice Yong Song Kao, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar. Alex is taking computer science at York University. Alex C.G. Kao, OSSD recipient and Schism, Ontario Scholar. He is taking marketing at York University. David Kao, OSSD recipient and Ontario Scholar. David is doing urban studies at U of T Scarborough campus. Francis Kao, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar. Francis has taken life sciences at University of Toronto. Dion Cecil, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. She's taken life sciences co-op at University of Waterloo. Messiah Chan. Messiah is an OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar. Messiah will take in life sciences and psychology at University of Toronto. Ryan Chan. Ryan is an OSSD recipient and Ontario Scholar. Ryan is taking nursing at York University. Albert Chang. Albert is an OSSD recipient and Ontario Scholar. Albert is taking business management at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Alex Chen. OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar. Alex is taking life science at University of Toronto. Brandy, give me a second. Brandy Chen, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. Brandy is doing childhood and youth care at York University. Christina Chen. Christina is an OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar. She's going to be taking art fundamentals at Sheridan College. Cece Chen, OSSD recipient, Schism as well, Bethune Scholar and Ontario Scholar. She'll be doing the Global Business Digital Arts Program at University of Waterloo Co-op. Fiona Chen, OSSD recipient and Schism, Bethune Scholar and Ontario Scholar, will be doing Management and International Business at University of Toronto Scarborough campus. Gordon Chen, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar, will be taking mathematical and physical science at the University of Toronto. Arissa Chen, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar, will be taking interior design at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Jack Chen, OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar, will be taking global businesses and digital management at University of Waterloo. Jackie Chen, OSSD recipient and Ontario Scholar, will be taking motive technician at Centennial College. Mr. Liu, please come forward and present Jackie with the Grade 12 Transportation Technology Award. Jason Chen. Jason is an OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar. Jason is taking electrical engineering at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Jeff Chen, OSSD recipient and Schism. Johnny Chen, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar. He will be doing history and political science at University of Toronto St. George campus. Ms. Koutsanopoulos, come forward and present Johnny with the Grade 12 Challenge and Change in Society Award and the Grade 12 World History Award. Ling Chen, OSSD recipient and Schism, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be taking management at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. Ms. Kilbride, please come forward to present Ling with the Vocal Music Award. Ms. Soni, would you please come forward and present Ling with the Grade 12 French Award? Thank you. Milagro Chen, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar. Serena Chen, OSS recipient and Ontario Scholar, will be taking visual arts at York University. Stephen Chen is an Ontario Scholar, will be taking architecture, sustainability, and conservation at Carleton University. Jay Chen He, OSS recipient, will be doing early child educational program at Seneca. Winnie Chen, OSS recipient in Schism. She's also Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. A double degree of BBA and BSc, Business Computer Science at the Wilfrid Laurier University. Jasmine Chin, OSS recipient in Schism, Bethune Scholar and Ontario Scholar, will be doing the Shulock BBA program at York University. Eric Cho, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar and Ontario Scholar, will be doing kinesiology at York University. Annabelle Chow, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be doing life sciences at University of Waterloo. Jacob Chung, OSSD recipient, taking nursing at Laurentian University, Lakehead University. Allison Koo, OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar, will be doing public administration at University of Ottawa. Mark Dada, OSSD recipient, will be taking plumbing at the George Brown College. Peter Daniel, OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar, will be taking life sciences at University of Toronto Scarborough campus. Christian Dimas, OSSD recipient, will be doing apprenticeship program. Eric Dong, OSSD recipient, Ontario Scholar, will be taking life sciences, biological science, and neuroscience at University of Toronto. Jason Dong, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar, will be doing computer science at York University. Oscar Du, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, and Ontario Scholar, will be doing mechanical engineering at Toronto Metropolitan University. Kase Edris, OSS recipient and Ontario Scholar, will be taking a gap year. Mirojan Elokoven, OSSD recipient, will be doing business economics at Toronto Metropolitan University, Ryerson. Lina Alta Mohammed, OSSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be in the Arts and Science program at McMaster University. Would Ms. Kilbride please come forward and present Lena with the Broadway Ready Dramatic Arts Award? Thank you, Ms. Kilbride. Jennifer May Fang, OSS recipient and Chisholm, Ontario Scholar, will be taking business management at Toronto Metropolitan University co-op program. Sensen Fang, OSS recipient and Chisholm, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be doing management and accounting at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. Nicholas Francisco, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be taking business management at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Isabel Gann, OSS recipient, Chisholm, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be taking economics and computer science double major at the University of Western Ontario with advanced entry to the Honors Business Administrators program at the Ivy Business School. Would Mr. Malasane please come forward and present Isabel with the Grade 12 Co-op Education Award? Thank you, Ms. Masali. Andrew Gao, OSS recipient, taking financial and business economics at York University. Tanny Gao, OSS recipient, Chisholm, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. Tanny will do in the co-op management BBA at the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. Willie Gao, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be taking automotive technician at Centennial College. Would Mr. Tam please come forward and present Willie with the Grade 12 Foundations of College Mathematics Award? Maggie Ugon, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. Maggie will doing honors mathematics at the University of Waterloo. Would Ms. Kilbride please come forward and present Maggie with the Charles Benson Memorial Award? Would Mr. Tam please come forward and present Maggie with the Grade 12 Advanced Functions Award? Ashley Gonzalez, OSS recipient, taking tourism at Seneca College. Ken Gonzalez, OSS recipient, will take an accounting at Centennial College. Kristlyn Gordon, OSS recipient and Ontario Scholar, will be doing early childhood education at George Brown College. Hiroki Gutierrez, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be taking life sciences at the University of Toronto. Jason Ha, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar and Ontario Scholar, will be taking nursing at Toronto Metropolitan University. Cindy He, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. She'll be doing honors architectural studies at the University of Waterloo. Would Ms. Kilbride please come forward and present Cindy with the Audra Noble Memorial Leadership Award? Stephanie He, OSS recipient, Ontario Scholar. Stephanie will be taking psychology and legal studies at University of Waterloo. Ryan Hernandez, OSD recipient, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, will be taking psychology at York Kiel campus. Winston Ho, OSS recipient, Bethune Scholar and Ontario Scholar, will be taking engineering at McMaster University. Would Mr. Malasani please come forward and present Winston with the A.B. Patterson Award? Maggie Wan, OSS recipient and Chisholm, Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar, taking Business Administration, Wilfrid Laurier University. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Please join me in congratulating the first group of graduates. I would now like to call upon Mr. Malasani to read the next group of graduates.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. I will now call upon Mr. Scott to present the next set of diplomas to our recipients. Ree Hung. Ree is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Ree will be doing computer science at the University of Waterloo. Would Ms. Kilbride come forward and present Ree with the Outstanding Senior Musician Award? Would Mr. Liu come forward and present Ree with the Grade 12 Computer Science Award? And would Mr. Tam come forward and present Ree with the Mary Kirkpatrick Mathematics Award? Feroz Hossein. Feroz is an OSSD recipient, and in the fall, he'll be taking business management at Ontario Tech. Caillou Hu. Caillou is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Caillou will be doing social sciences at the University of Toronto. Justin Hu. Justin is an OSSD recipient, a SHISM graduate, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Justin will be doing business management at Toronto Metropolitan University. Andy Huang. Andy is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Andy will be taking computer science, mathematics, and statistics at the University of Toronto, Mississauga. Josian Huang. Josian is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be doing early childhood studies at Toronto Metropolitan University. Prosper Huang. Prosper is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall, will be doing materials engineering at the University of Toronto. Would Mr. Tam come forward and present Prosper with the Grade 12 Data Management Award? Tommy Wang. Tommy is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. Tommy will be doing electrical engineering at Toronto Metropolitan University. Anita Huang. Anita is an OSSD recipient, a SHISM graduate, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Anita will be doing creative industries at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Queenie Hung. Queenie is an OSSD recipient, and in the fall, will be taking her Bachelor of Music at the University of Western Ontario. Hanny Jiang. Hanny is an OSSD graduate, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking mathematics at the University of Waterloo. Jason Jiang. Jason is an OSSD Scholar or recipient and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking psychology at York University. Jason Yi Reng Jiang is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking statistics at the University of Toronto. Ashwini Pavan. Ashwini is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking nanotechnology engineering at the University of Waterloo. Tharin Karuna Ratnan. is a OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. Thrin will be taking business management at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Dea Kaur. Dea is an OSSD recipient, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking social sciences criminology at the University of Toronto. Emily Key. Emily is an OSSD recipient, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking English at the University of Toronto. Abigail Kim. Abigail is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and would Miss Touchner come forward and present Abigail with the Grade 12 World Issues Award? In the fall, she'll be taking English Language and Literature at Queen's University. Samuel Kim. Samuel is an OSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking Film, Cinema, and Media Studies at York University. Jason Lai. Jason is an OSSD recipient, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking Urban Studies at York University. Jehao Lai. Jehao is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking kinesiology at Wilfrid Laurier University. Victor Lai. Victor is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking kinesiology at York University.
Yay, Victor.
Jackie Lamb. Jackie is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking computer science at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Samuel Lamb. Samuel is an OSSD recipient, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking Global Business and Digital Arts at the University of Waterloo. Joseph Lung. Joseph is an OSSD recipient, a SHISM graduate, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking computer science at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Kian Lung. Kian is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking kinesiology at the University of Waterloo. Parko Lung. Parko is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Parko will be taking Children, Childhood, and Youth Care at the Toronto Metropolitan University. Annie Lee. Annie is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking kinesiology at the University of Toronto in the fall. Derek Lee. Derek is receiving his OSSD, and he is an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Derek will be going to Ryerson University. Emily Lee. Emily is receiving her OSSD, and in the fall, will be taking Interaction Design at George Brown College. Eugene Lee. Eugene is receiving his OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Eugene will be doing urban planning at the University of Waterloo. Eugene is also an Ontario Scholar. Jillian Lee. Jillian is receiving her OSSD, and she's an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Jillian will be taking business management and Ivy at the Western University of Ontario. Kelly Lee. Kelly's receiving her OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Child Studies at the University of Guelph. Sunny Lee. Sunny is receiving her OSSD. She's an Ontario Scholar, and she'll be taking Educational Studies at York University. Yolanda Lee. Yolanda is receiving her OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be studying Architectural Engineering at the University of Waterloo. Ellen Liang. Ellen is receiving her OSSD. She's an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall, she'll be taking her Bachelor's of Business Administration at Wilfrid Laurier University. James Liang. James is receiving his OSSD. He's a SHISM graduate, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking Business Administration at York University. Simon Liang. Simon's receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar, and will be taking Kinesiology at University of Toronto. Tracy Liang. Tracy's receiving her OSSD, and she's an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be studying mathematics at the University of Toronto. Leo Liao. Leo is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall, will be studying computer science at University of Toronto. Would Mr. Liu, who's already there, present Leo with the Grade 12 Computer Engineering Award. Amber Lin. Amber is an OSSD recipient, a SHISM graduate, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking Medical Science and Ivy at Western University. Would Mr. Liu present Amber with the Grade 12 Financial Securities Award? Andrew Lin. Andrew's an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be studying computer engineering at University of Waterloo. Would Mr. Lee come forward and present Andrew with the Grade 12 Wilfrid Penfield Triple Science Award? Grace Lin. Grace is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be taking Life Sciences at the University of Toronto. Would Ms. Koutsanopoulos come forward and present Grace with the Grade 12 Canadian and International Law Award? Helen Lin. Helen is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Life Science at McMaster University. Kevin Lin. Kevin's receiving his OSSD and is an Ontario Scholar. Kevin will be taking Biology at Toronto Metropolitan University. Melanie Lin. Melanie is receiving her OSSD. She's an Ontario Scholar, and in the fall will be studying business management. She'll be studying business management. Vicky Shimen Lin. Vicky is an OSSD recipient. Yuki Lin. Yuki is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, Yuki will be taking economics with management option at Laurier University. Catherine Lin Chen. Catherine is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking humanities at the University of Toronto. Anli Lin Yu. Anli is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking business administration at Wilfrid Laurier. Would Miss Kilbride come forward and present Anli with the Grade 12 Art Award? Cynthia Lin. Cynthia is receiving her OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking life sciences at McMaster University. Kevin Liu. Kevin's receiving his OSSD today and will be taking business leadership at Centennial College. Alexis Lowe. Alexis is an OSSD recipient and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Social Sciences 1 at McMaster University. Catherine Luo Liu is an OSSD recipient and a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking computer science at Toronto Metropolitan University. Carla Malik Terminas is an OSSD recipient and a SHISM graduate. She'll be taking retail management at TMU Toronto Metropolitan University. Shafia Morsaline. Shafia is receiving her OSSD today, and she's planning on pursuing real estate. Mary Moo. Mary is an OSSD recipient, a SHISM graduate, and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be studying commerce at the York University, the BCom program. Karen Nee. Karen is an OSSD recipient, an Ontario Scholar, and she plans on studying social sciences and humanities at the University of Toronto. Would Mr. Liu come forward and present Karen with the Grade 12 Business Leadership Award, Management Fundamentals? Jenny Nee. Jenny is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking life sciences at the University of Toronto. Adam Picardo is an OSSD recipient, a Bethune Scholar, and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking nursing at Toronto Metropolitan University. Would Ms. Kilbride come forward and present Adam with the Wind Ensemble Award? Thank you, Mr. Scott. Please join me in congratulating the second group of graduates. I'll now turn the program back to Mrs. Houghton.
Thank you, Mr. Malasani. I am pleased to introduce Bethune's Commencement Wind Ensemble, conducted by the fast-moving Miss Kilbride. They will be performing Greek Folk Song Suite Movement 1 by Franco Cesarini. Please remain seated and give our musical performers your full attention. Thank you, Ms. Kilbride of the Commencement Wind Ensemble. Ms. Soni, please come forward to continue presenting our graduates.
Thank you, Ms. Houghton. And would you please join me to present the last set of diplomas to our OSSD recipients? Danny Pan. Danny is receiving his OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking Life Sciences at University of Toronto. Stephen Pan. Stephen is receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking an additional year. Nam Pham. Nam is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking Life Sciences at University of Toronto St. George campus. Shreyas Rao. Shreyas is receiving his OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking Computer Science Co-op at University of Toronto Scarborough. And would Mr. Tam please come forward and present Shreyas with the Grade 12 Calculus and Vectors Award? Thank you, Mr. Tam. Would Mr. Harrop please come forward and present Shreyas with the Grade 12 Gerhard Hertzberg Chemistry Award? Thank you, Mr. Harrop. Sophia Rico Molano. Sophia is receiving her Ontario Secondary School Diploma. She'll be taking Business Management at Ryerson University. Rihanna Ruda. Rihanna is receiving her Ontario Secondary School Diploma. In the fall, she'll be taking drama at Centennial College. And would Ms. Anderson please come forward and present Rihanna with the Grade 12 English Award? Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Malia Shamsi. Malia is receiving an OSSD. In the fall, she'll be taking social science at the University of Ottawa. Jennifer Shao. Jennifer is receiving an OSSD. She's an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking urban planning at the University of Waterloo. Would Ms. Kilbride please come forward and present Jennifer with the Grade 12 Digital Art Award? Thank you, Ms. Kilbride. Kenny Shen. Kenny is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking computer science at Toronto Metropolitan. Evan Shi. Evan is receiving an OSSD. He's a SHISM graduate, and he's an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking Business Technology Management at Toronto Metropolitan University. Anishan Sivaganandrian. Anishan is receiving his Ontario Secondary School Diploma, and he'll be taking Digital Media at York University. Daniel Sun. Daniel is an OSSD graduate. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking Life Science at University of Toronto. Would Ms. Azes please come forward and present Daniel with the Grade 12 Men's Fitness and Weight Training Award? Thank you, Ms. Azes. Erica Sun. Erica is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Management and International Business at the University of Toronto. Jamie Tan. Jamie is receiving her OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Bachelor of Health Sciences at Queen's University. And would Ms. Azes please come forward to present Jamie with the Grade 12 Kinesiology Award? Thank you, Ms. Azes. Vincent Trung. Vincent is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking Computer Science at University of Toronto. Would Mr. Malasani please come forward and present Vincent with the Grade 12 International Business Fundamentals Award? Thank you, Mr. Malasani. Sanujan Thermasari. Sanujan is receiving his OSSD and a SHISM graduate. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking business management at Toronto Metropolitan University. Sunny Tang. Sunny is receiving his OSSD. He's a SHISM graduate and he's an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, he'll be taking IT at BCom at York University. Felix Tang. Felix is receiving his Ontario Secondary School diploma today, and he'll be taking electromechanics at Centennial College. Derek Tang. Derek is receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking engineering at TMU in the fall. Camuel Tu. Camuel is receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar, and he'll be taking computer programming at Seneca College. Christine Wang. Christine is receiving her OSSD. She's a SHISM graduate. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking kinesiology at McMaster University in the fall. Edison Wang. Edison is receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar, and he'll be taking kinesiology at Wilfrid Laurier University. Also, he'll probably be taking many more selfies. Jessie Wang. Jessie is receiving her OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking computer science at U of T St. George. Lishi Wang. Lishi is receiving an OSSD, and she's an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking co-op, social sciences, and humanities at University of Toronto Scarborough campus. Lucy Wang. Lucy is receiving an OSSD, and she'll be taking culinary management at Humber College. Robin Wang. Robin is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking electrical engineering at University of Waterloo. Tina Wang. Tina is receiving an OSSD. She's an Ontario Scholar and will be taking honors, environment, and business at University of Waterloo. Vincent Wang. Vincent is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar, and he'll be taking mathematics at University of Waterloo. Jialan Wang. Jialan is receiving an Ontario Secondary School diploma. Avery Wu. Avery is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. In the fall, she'll be taking math at University of Waterloo. And would Mr. Harrop please come forward to present Avery with the Grade 12 John McClellan Physics Award. Thank you, Mr. Harrop. Kayana Wu. Kayana is receiving an OSSD and is an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Human Resources Management at York University. Wanyi Wu. Wanyi is receiving her Ontario Secondary School diploma. She's an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Social Sciences and Humanities at U of T Scarborough. Meilin Chu is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar, an Ontario Scholar, and will be taking business at University of Toronto. Would Mr. Liu please come forward and present Meilin with the Grade 12 Spanish Award? Thank you, Mr. Liu. Nick Xu. Nick is receiving an OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar and will be taking computing at Queen's University. Shakti Yalini is receiving an OSSD. She's an Ontario scholar and will be taking biochemistry at University of Waterloo. Allison Yang. Allison is receiving an OSSD. She's an Ontario scholar. She'll be taking physical sciences at University of Waterloo. Brian Yang. Brian is receiving an OSSD. He's an Ontario scholar and will be taking kinesiology co-op at University of Waterloo. Catherine Yang. Catherine is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar. She'll be taking engineering at McMaster University. Cindy Yang. Cindy is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar. She'll be taking early childhood studies at University of Guelph. Danny Yang. Danny is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar and will be taking computer science at Laurier and Waterloo. Oscar Yang. Oscar is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar and will be taking systems design engineering at University of Waterloo. Simon Yang. Simon is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar. Tina Yang. Tina is receiving an OSSD. She's an Ontario scholar, and she'll be taking math and business at University of Waterloo. Wincy Yi. Wincy is receiving her OSSD. She's an Ontario scholar and will be taking digital futures at OCAD. Henry Yi Cao. Henry is receiving an OSSD. He's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar. He'll be taking computer science at York University. And I'd like to ask Ms. Azes to come forward and present Henry with the grade 12 Men's Healthy Active Living. Thank you, Ms. Azes. Sitang Yin. Sitang is receiving her OSSD. She's an Ontario scholar. She'll be taking humanities at University of Toronto. Lydia Yu. Lydia is receiving her Ontario Secondary School Diploma. And next year she's going to stay one more year. Alyssa Zhang. Alyssa is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune scholar and an Ontario scholar. She'll be taking computer science at University of Toronto. Chen Ying Zhang will be taking baking and pastry arts management at George Brown College. Ian Zhang. Ian is receiving an OSSD, Bethune scholar and Ontario scholar, and in the fall will be taking commerce at Queen's University. Would Miss Anderson please come forward to present Ian with the grade 12 English Award? Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Would Mr. Lee please come forward and present Ian with the grade 12 Hillier and Priebus Biology Award? Thank you, Mr. Lee. Would Ms. Koutsianopoulos please come forward and present Ian with the grade 12 Analyzing Economic Issues Award? Thank you. Rico Zhang. Rico will be taking culinary arts at George Brown College. Ivy Zhao. Ivy is receiving an OSSD. She's a Bethune scholar and Ontario scholar, and in the fall will be taking social science at University of Toronto. Would Ms. Azes please come forward and present Ivy with the grade 12 Women's Healthy Active Living Award? Thank you, Ms. Azes. Maggie Zhao. Maggie is receiving an OSSD. She's a SHISM graduate and an Ontario scholar. She'll be taking Bachelor of Science in Nursing at University of Ottawa. Nick Zhao. Nick is receiving an OSSD. He's a SHISM graduate. He's an Ontario scholar and will be taking Business Economics with Management option at Wilfrid Laurier University. Glenn Zhang. Glenn is receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking Business Administration at University of Toronto. Joe Zhang. Joe is receiving his OSSD. He's an Ontario Scholar. He'll be taking Automation and Robotics at Centennial College. Anna Zong. Anna is receiving her OSSD. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Sustainability and Financial Management at University of Waterloo. Jester Zhao. Jester is receiving his Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Karina Zhao. Karina is receiving an OSSD. She's a SHISM graduate. She's a Bethune Scholar and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking Rotman Commerce at University of Toronto in the fall. Kelly Zhao. Kelly will be taking Fashion Art at Seneca College in the fall. Kimberly Zhao. Kimberly was receiving an OSSD. She's a SHISM graduate and an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking nursing at Toronto Metropolitan University. Ashley Zhu. Ashley is receiving an OSSD. She's an Ontario Scholar. She'll be taking psychology at University of Waterloo. Jaden Zhu. Jaden is receiving an Ontario Secondary School Diploma and will be taking electrical engineering at Centennial College. Amy Z. Amy is receiving her Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Herman Yang. Herman is receiving his Ontario Secondary School Diploma and will be taking plumbing at Humber College. Gurna Tan. Gurna is receiving her Ontario Secondary School Diploma and will be taking nursing at Centennial College and then a bridge to Ryerson University. Could I please ask Miss Azis to come up to present Gurna with the Grade 12 Women's Fitness and Weight Training Award. Thank you, Ms. Houghton. And please join me in congratulating all our graduates and department winners. I now return the proceedings back to Ms. Houghton.
Thank you, Ms. Soni, Ms. Barrett, Mr. Malasani, for presenting our graduates. Congratulations to our diploma recipients, Bethune Scholars, Ontario Scholars, and Department Award winners. I would now like to invite Ms. Jean Yip, Member of Parliament, to say a few words.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to the Dr. Norman Bethune CI class of 2022. It's a real pleasure and privilege to be here after so many years. It feels like so many years when in actuality it was just over 2 years of this pandemic. And I'm really glad to see so many people out here today to help pay tribute to this extraordinarily resilient group of young people. Your high school years presented a challenge that is unique to this generation, one that required you to adapt and be flexible, and also to make sacrifices. I'm sure it was not easy to do school virtually, to also not see your friends and get out there and have fun. We also need to acknowledge the challenge to your teachers who had to adapt and be creative and learn how to teach virtually and asynchronously, as well as to switch and combine learning methods at the drop of a hat. Now that we're able to connect in person again, I encourage you to look beyond your screens and out into the wider world. When choosing what you want to study or even how you want to spend your summer, think back to those days and months when when many of you attended class at home and maybe in the comfort of your own bedroom. And then pick subjects and activities that make you excited to get out of bed in the morning. Choose to engage. Take advantage of every opportunity to participate with the outside world, whether it's studying, volunteering, work, playing, or sports. So thank you, Principal Scott and Vice Principals Christina Wilson and Laura Houghton, and special congratulations on your retirement. And to the rest of the faculty and staff. And I would like to especially acknowledge all the parents and family out there that have supported the graduates. It's not been an easy time. Graduates, move out into the world with purpose and energy, knowing that you are strong and resilient. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Yip. Would those graduates who earned special awards, that is those with yellow cards, follow Mr. Ishiguro and assemble now for those awards? The next group of presentations are our special award winners. These awards are considered special awards. They are separate because they are not connected to a specific department or subject area. Thank you to the many individuals, businesses, and Bethune staff members who have donated to these awards. Would Ms. Anderson please come forward to announce our award winners?
Thank you, Mrs. Houghton. Would Ms. Soni please come forward to present the first awards? The Student Mentor Award is given to the student who best demonstrates acceptance, kindness, and openness to all students and participates in activities aimed at promoting inclusion and support. This year's recipient is Johnny Chen. There you go. The new Canadian Achievement Award is presented to a student who has begun his or her school journey as an English language learner. The recipient has been a positive role model for his or her peers and has been an active member of the school community in addition to maintaining a strong academic average. This year's recipient is Tina Wang. Yang. The Dr. Brenda Shapiro Memorial Award is presented by the Bethune staff in memory of Brenda Shapiro, who was the first science department head of Bethune. This award is given to the graduating student who best typifies the personality and values of the late Dr. Shapiro in displaying a friendly zest for living and being involved in a wide range of school activities. The award goes to Wan Yi Wu. Wan Yi, please remain on stage. Mr. Scott, please come forward and present the next award. The Principal's Award for Student Leadership is presented to the graduating student who has demonstrated exceptional leadership in all aspects of school life. The recipient is Wan Yi Wu. Would Ms. Jean Yip and Mr. Alan Cobb please come forward to present the next award? The Arnold Chan Award is donated by the Scarborough Agincourt Federal Liberal Association in recognition of the late MP Arnold Chan, who was also a Bethune student. This award is presented to a graduating student who possesses an interest in social justice or global citizenship, as demonstrated by past and present school or community experiences. This award was set up and funded by Mr. Alan Cobb from the Scarborough Agincourt Federal Liberal Association. The award goes to Maggie Huang. Would Mr. Ortwin please come forward to present the next two awards? The Council for Exceptional Children Award is presented to the student who has shown exceptional achievement during his or her years at Dr. Norman Bethune CI. The award goes to Camuel Tu. The Margaret Thompson Memorial Award is presented to a student who has successfully faced and overcome academic challenges and who displays a caring personality and a sense of humor. This year's recipient is Rihanna Ruda. Would Ms. Villeman please come forward to present the next two awards? The Community Association Scholarship Award is awarded to a student who has demonstrated strong involvement and contribution to community events, which has resulted in strengthening ties between the school and the community. The award goes to Lena Elton Muhammad. The Health and Wellness Award is presented to a student who promotes and supports health and wellness initiatives in the school community and raises awareness and takes action to support students improving their well-being. This year's winner is Jamie Tan. Would Mr. Ng please come forward to present the next awards? The Lieutenant Governor's Community Volunteer Award is presented for exemplary student involvement in the community. The winner is Isabel Gann. The University of Toronto National Book Award is awarded to a student with superior academic performance, original and creative thought, and exceptional achievement in a broad context. This year's winner is Grace Lynn. Would Ms. Wilson please come forward to present the next awards? The Jacor Marketing Award for Student Equality is given to the student who best exemplifies student equality by taking measures to prevent bullying and promote inclusion within the student body and models acceptance, kindness, and openness. This year's recipient is Brandy Chen. The Edge Imaging Award is presented to two students who have demonstrated enthusiasm and excellence in academic and/or technical multimedia endeavors and mentors others in the development of their multimedia, editing, and technical skills. The first recipient is Adam Picardo. The second recipient is Nam Pham. Would Ms. Touchner please come forward and present the next award? The Environmental Action Award is presented to a student who raises awareness and takes action on issues that impact our environment and who demonstrates leadership by inspiring others to take action. This year, there are two recipients. The first award goes to Cindy He. And the second recipient is Anna Zhang. Would Mr. Ishiguro please come forward to present the next awards? The REP Distinguished Service Award is given to graduating students who have shown remarkable leadership as a member of the REP executive. The first recipient is Jillian Lee. The second recipient is Allison Yang. Would Ms. Villeman please come forward to present the next award? The Melanie Smeads Award is presented each year to a student who demonstrates creativity, sensitivity, and ability in English and the dramatic arts in honor of Melanie Smeads, a former Bethune teacher. This year, it is presented to Annabelle Chow. Annabelle, please remain on stage. Would Ms. Azis please come forward to present the next award? The R.K. Thompson Award is donated in memory of the charter principal, Mr. R.K. Thompson, to a graduating student enrolled in a health science program at a post-secondary institution and has demonstrated commitment to building community through sports and to promoting physical health and fitness. This year's recipient is Annabelle Chow. Would Mr. Sam Coe please come forward to present the next awards? The School Council Awards are presented to 3 students who have been actively involved in all aspects of school life, who display an optimistic attitude that contributes to the positive learning atmosphere, and who provide voluntary assistance to their peers. The first recipient is Rahaf Aldodo. The second recipient is Stephen Chen. And the third recipient is Mark Data. Mark, please remain on stage. Would Mr. Malasani please come forward and present the next award? The Jim McQueen Excellence in Education Award is presented to a student for their exceptional involvement and service to their school and community life. This year's recipient is Mark Data. Would Ms. Blom please come forward to present the next award? The Library Award is presented for outstanding contribution to the library program at Dr. Norman Bethune CI over a period of several years. This year's recipient is Ling Chen. Okay, Ling, please remain on stage. Would Mrs. Houghton please come forward to present the next awards? The Dr. Norman Bethune CI Staff Scholarship Awards, donated by the staff, are presented to the graduating students who demonstrate a love of learning by being intellectually curious, value risk-taking in the learning process, are reflective, participate in a range of school activities, and are going on to post-secondary education. The first recipient is Ling Chen. And the second recipient is Shreyas Rao. The Bethune 25th Anniversary Scholarship Award was donated by both former and current staff and graduates. The recipient of this award best exemplifies the well-rounded student. The recipient has been a positive role model, works hard to achieve to fullest potential, and has been involved in extracurricular activities throughout the school. The winner is Gulperi Kaken. The Gib Roberts Award is presented to the student who has contributed most to the spirit of Dr. Norman Bethune. This year's recipient is Maggie Gong. Maggie, please remain on stage, and would Mr. Scott please come forward and present the last 2 awards. The Dr. Norman Bethune CI Staff Proficiency Award is presented to the student who has obtained the highest overall standing for each grade. The Governor General's Medal is awarded to the student with the highest academic standing based on the combined average of their grade 11 and 12 courses. This year's winner is Maggie Gong. Please join me to acknowledge all of our special award winners. I would now like to turn the program back to Mrs. Houghton.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson, and congratulations again to all our special award winners. Now it is time to introduce your 2022 Bethune valedictorian. The valedictorian is chosen each year by the graduating class to address today's gathering from the graduates' perspective. perspective. It is indeed an honor to be chosen by your peers as valedictorian. Graduates, it is my pleasure to call upon Mr. Liu, who will introduce your 2022 valedictorian.
Good afternoon. I am honored to stand here for a few moments to introduce your Dr. Norman Bethune CI 2022 valedictorian, Shreyas Rao. The valedictorian is not only one that performed well academically, but one that performed well, earned the respect of his peers for their leadership, school involvement, and would best represent their voice at commencement. Now, this is an important choice. Expectations are high, and there's a lot of pressure on this year's valedictorian. It has been 2 years since we have had an in-person commencement and a live valedictorian. These past 2 years of restrictions, constant change, and remote learning has not been easy for our learning community. This year's valedictorian is a, quote, a solid choice, end quote, as described by a fellow classmate and robotics team member. Another would say, yes, he can speak. Unfortunately, remote learning and the pandemic might have affected the communication skills of some of our students. It is definitely not at all the case for Shreyas. If you had Shreyas as a student in your class, as I've had, or interacted with him through the various clubs and teams he's involved with, you will know about his engagement, his insights, and his excellent communication skills. When I first met Shreyas 2 years ago, it was during remote learning in the midst of my first year at Bethune CI. He was but a name in the Zoom window among many other blank screens in my online grade 11 computer science class. I was shocked because one of the first things he did was he introduced himself during the first Zoom class. He actually spoke. He would regularly ask questions during class and contribute to enrich the virtual experiences of his classmates. His time in the United States of America, then India, and now Canada, brought a certain worldly insight to my class. He designed incredible computer applications that dealt with poverty, famine, and racism. He demonstrated what it meant to be a global citizen by sharing with us all the experiences that have shaped him for the same exact moment. Mr. Scott, Shreyas' badminton coach, described him perfectly with these words. So, Mr. Rob Scott, quote, if I had to say something about Shreyas, it would be a phrase rather than an anecdote, and it would be that still waters run deep. With Shreyas, the exterior, at least on the badminton team, is quiet and calm, and one could draw incorrect assumptions about him based on those observations. The quiet and calm demeanor is just the outer layer on somebody whose depth of understanding and intelligence runs very deep, whose passion for all he does is significant, and whose value as a friend and as a teammate is unlimited. In short, still water runs deep. Shreyas also played an integral role in ensuring that Bethune students had a fun and engaging time in our school community. As a senior executive in the Bethune Blaze Club under the leadership of Mr. Ishiguro, he has been part of a dedicated group of students that ensure that all events, such as concerts, arts banquets, movie nights, and even this commencement, were set up and media ready. He also coordinated this year's very successful talent show that involved both our virtual and in-person students. Shreyas, wherever you are, you embody the grit and determination to succeed of Bethune students. Oh, there you are. I was glad that you joined our robotics team. It was rocky, shaky, and at times rushed. Yes, we're talking about the robot. But you and your team made it viable. Restrictions, rules, and lockdowns did not make it easy, but you and your team adapted and managed to impress, earning Bethune several awards and representing us at provincials. Next year, when you're doing computer science at University of Toronto, think of us. I can't wait to see what new applications you will come up with to change the world. Maybe even the next improved version of TDSB Connect's app. Everyone, please welcome your 2021-2022 valedictorian, Shreyas Rao.
Thank you, Mr. Liu, for those kind words. I really now feel the pressure after looking at everybody here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our principal, vice principals, special guests, our teachers, Bethune staff, our parents, fellow classmates who are here today to celebrate the graduating class of 2021 and 2022. Thank you to Ms. Anderson, who helped me carefully craft this speech for this fine occasion. My name is Shreyas Rao, and it's my great honor to deliver this speech. And for those of you who did not know this, as Mr. Scott already mentioned, I would like to wish Ms. Houghton a happy retirement. Thank you for all the hard work you put into this school over the years and for coordinating this year's commencement. This year's afternoon is not only about graduation and looking forward to the future, but also to look back at our accomplishments and experiences over 4 years of high school. This final farewell does hardly any justice to those times. For some, graduating is a relief, and others, it's a bittersweet feeling. Just a few weeks back, on the day of the graduation lunch party, my friends came up to me before the event to say, and I quote, "Mr. Valedictorian, did you already write the speech?" Like, what do you expect? I'm not a superhuman, but I wish I had that superpower to see the future. What would I do with that superpower, you ask? I'm sure many of you have seen the new Spider-Man movie, right? No Way Home. No spoilers, by the way. With my superpower, I would have told Peter Parker to avoid the mistake of being indecisive. It was a dumb mistake. Nonetheless, it was an entertaining movie. Or I would use it to see when our tests and quizzes are handed back to us this year. They're really important not to know. Even without those superpowers, though, the grad lunch went exactly as my friends told me. My heart was beating fast when the principal was announcing the name, and the whole gym was filled with cheers. I was overjoyed. A few moments, it was exactly as my friends told me. Mr. Scott, you didn't happen to tell my friends before then, right? A few moments later, though, I felt the stress of having to write a speech and balance all the summatives that were gonna come flooding down on me. The funny thing is that this speech was also my final English summative, just as it was for all of you guys. I know my friends would have loved to see me write 2 different speeches for today, but no, I'm not a superhuman once again. We had the 2 wonderful banquets, the athletics and the arts, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten about prom. It was a wonderful night. Thank you to all the teachers and students for making these events possible. Our senior classes would be really jealous of us. Over the span of 4 years, many things have shaped us to be who we are today. Some of us might have attended the Bear Camp during the summer just before grade 9 to check out our new school, meet new teachers and friends. Grade 9 was an exciting year with no discontinuities. I know the math people get the joke. It was a year filled with uncertainness, craziness, and people testing new waters. There were many clubs and sports teams to join to fully experience the start of high school. I joined the Blaze Club. I played on the volleyball team, the badminton team. I applied to ABC. I was asked to stand up as a grade 9 representative in SAC by a teacher. I was asked to join the rugby team by Mr. Watson. I attended the math club. I also attended the library helpers club, and I volunteered many hours outside school. I wanted to start slow. That's right, start slow. I didn't get the meaning back then. We had many events that year too, like the grade 9 barbecue, the winter concert, the live talent show, the Halloween event, the semi-formal, and what would turn out to be our only exams. Who says nothing good came out of the pandemic? Then grade 10 finally came, we hit the double digits. The year moved smoothly along now that we were experts in managing high school, but then we hit a roadblock. The pandemic took away important parts of our high school life. Grade 10 ended without exams, without the flair and excitement that was supposed to be there as we were moving on to grade 11. In grade 11, the quadmester system was introduced. It took time for teachers and us to adapt to the new schedule. It was scary seeing how a whole year's worth of content was just being crammed in 2 months. There were no clubs, no sports, no usual way of life, not a lot of interaction that we used to have that made our high school life enjoyable. It was hard for all of us. Many students were virtual and not in school at all. I would like to thank the parents for supporting us during those times of uncertainty when the help was needed the most. As we slowly passed through that year, I can say we barely made it through. But grade 12 was a whole different story. Things were slowly recovering, and once again, we were introduced to a new system for our school, the semester system. The restrictions were strict at the start of the year, but things were finally changing. Everyone here remembers the morning wait lines to enter the school. Some of us would have forgotten to do the COVID check just before coming. Don't worry, I've been there too. It was a tiring process, but I think it helped keep things regulated for safety. The course load was sometimes overwhelming. I also heard that organic chemistry tutor, Jensen Math, crash course on YouTube, or Spark Notes really helped people understand the concept taught in class. Getting to the good stuff, we started having virtual and then in-person club meetings. Sports teams started recruiting. More activities were being planned out. We organized the talent show carefully, which was successful given the circumstances. We had many sports teams, and congrats to all the people who tried out this year. I also skipped school on the last day of school. I also skipped class on the last day of school, which many people might not expect me to do. But this was to bring a cake for Mr. Ishii's birthday, and that's a good reason to skip. But remember, we were also anxiously waiting for our codes to apply to post-secondary institutions. That process might have been more stressful than the heat of the pandemic, especially with the first semester summatives that were also hanging over us, until we found out the summatives were optional. That was a happy day, almost as happy as today. Finally, near the end of March, we decided where we were going next year. Some of us will go to colleges, some of us to universities, and some of us directly into the workforce. But no matter where we end up, I'm not going to say the same cliches many people say, because everyone will remember their high school years as a precious one, a unique one. That might have also been a cliche. I thought I would end off by saying something motivational, but you can check the yearbook for all the motivation you'll ever need. Reading the grad quotes makes it seem like we've already figured out the great mysteries of life. I might have already given you a few words of wisdom when we spoke throughout our high school. I would like to thank the yearbook committee for printing those wonderful yearbooks we received throughout our high school. Also, it would be nice to have more extra blank pages at the end. Those pages fill up really quickly. As grade 12 comes to an end, I would once again like to show my appreciation to everyone here. Our entry into the post-secondary world has just begun, and some people say it's like repeating high school with a hint of added difficulty. But it's for you to decide that. Some of us will continue to live at home and attend post-secondary programs, while some of us will be leaving home for the first time and living on campus. We will face many challenges, but by putting effort into the work we do, amazing things will happen. Because as I said in my grad quote, no one succeeds without effort, and those who succeed owe it to perseverance. Everything from here marks a new experience for all of us. I'm honored to be a part of this class, this institution, and to our graduating class of 2022. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Shreyas, for your address on behalf of this year's class. Mr. Scott, please come forward to present the Dr. Norman Bethune Valedictorian Award on behalf of the graduating class of 2022 to Shreyas Rao. Thank you, Mr. Scott. On behalf of Mr. Scott, Ms. Wilson, and myself, thank you to our office staff, teachers, and caretaking staff who have contributed to the organization of this event. In particular, I would like to thank Ms. Karen Ten for her undying work on all the details of diplomas and the really official stuff. She's an incredible person. I wanted to have her come up to the stage and acknowledge her because she really is outstanding in so many ways, but she would not hear of it. Her and I have a special relationship, so I thought I might be able to manipulate her to let us acknowledge her that way, but there was no way. So we just have to do it from a distance, and she certainly did an awful lot for today to happen. I would also like to thank Mr. James Ishiguro, the man behind the scenes of Blaze and moving the graduates, who is a huge component of this ceremony, and of course, Ms. Kilbride and the band for their significant contribution to this event. I would also like to thank the following student groups: the Bethune Reps, Blaze, and the Commencement Wind Ensemble. It all goes together to make a lovely program, and how wonderful to do it together in person once again. Please remain at your seats and keep the aisle clear during our recessional as the platform party exits, followed by the graduating class. But first, join me one more time for a round of applause for our 2022 graduating class. Congratulations.